here with Archbishop Regi McClurkin and Myneca Ojo, and we're here to talk about all the things that matter, the things that are important, the things that you need to know about. But before we get into it, I want to make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to all of our channels here on Believe Broadcasting. Thank you all for participating. We appreciate you guys. And just make sure you tell somebody that we're here to share what's going on. Hey, everybody. How you doing today?
Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Good. How about yourself? So good to be back. Yes.
Doing good. Doing good. It's all good in the neighborhood. We're here.
Very good.
Yes.
I hope
Go ahead, Myneca. What were you saying?
I was going to say, I hope everyone enjoyed the hiatus.
Oh yes. Yes. But I missed you guys.
Yes.
I hate it.
Yes. Yes. Things haven't been the same.
Absolutely.
No.
Yeah. I tell you, that's the thing. Everybody, we're busy people. It's always something going on with one of us. So getting together is always a great thing. We can synchronize. But we are here at a very critical time, and to me, a very positive sign that America is willing to fight for itself.
America, democracy.
Yes. So democracy, yet again, is trying not to go completely over the cliff. And we did manage to have our local and state elections. We had governor, we had a couple mayor elected. We had some important ballot initiatives that were passed, and everything broke for the Democrats.
Yes.
And in this case, just to let everybody know, I'm not necessarily pushing being a Democrat personally. I'm pushing for democracy being alive. I mean, we want a healthy or at least a two-party system, which is what we've had. We've never gotten to this point in our political existence, and we want to kind of roll back some of this so that we can at least have a functional democracy. So if you're a Republican, if you are independent or whatever is your political beliefs, let's all at least agree on the basics. Democracy, let's at least agree on taking care of the people. We may have different ideas, but what we can't have is we can't have fascism. We can't have total disregard for our fellow man. We can't have the levels of corruption that are out in the open. So I just wanted to get that out in the air first, as we talk about. But the Dems winning is a plus right now because we are trying to save the country right now.
Yes.
So, and as far as I'm concerned, we need to keep it going so we can at least get to the general election in 3 more years. And we can keep on trying to course correct the United States. But I'm going to let Myneca, our political beast, to kind of kick off some of this stuff. I want you to break it down a little bit, Myneca, and then going, of course, give us your perspective.
Man, I tell you, well, first of all, thank you. Because this has been on my heart, and I just want to say these are not the midterms, but these are the preempted midterms that we can look forward to, and I am just very, very pleased. Most of these were municipal races, local races, and we even saw a couple of gubernatorial races that really sparked, and Democrats made a tremendous charge. But what they said is that what this party said is that we are rebuking this administration and their yes, exactly, and their efforts to lead us, because obviously they are incapable of leading us. And I want to focus on the fact that these were local elections. And
Yes.
these local elections were highly significant because, as a municipal person myself, I always feel that it's more important to focus on the municipal races, which always tend to be low voter turnout when there's not a presidential race or gubernatorial race involved, as it is in Pennsylvania. Virginia has theirs at the same time as most people have their municipal races, but it's different. In Pennsylvania, our governor is elected in during the presidential term.
Mm-hmm. Right.
The important thing is that Democrats, we saw, and just as you said earlier, Darrell, it's not about being a Democrat or a Republican. It's about really taking a stand as to where you want to continue to see this country go. And the people spoke. Yeah. So we didn't really see
It
the
roared.
turnout. Yeah. And New York and Virginia had some of the highest historical turnouts for those races, but you could clearly see that there was a line drawn in the sand as to what is important for people. And in Virginia, Stamberger, I think that's her name, she spoke,
Yes.
and Winston Earl, she spoke too, but her message did not resound with the majority of people in the country. And this election honestly could not have come at a better time, in my opinion, where we have the House of Representatives and the Senate, the U.S. House of Representatives, U.S. Senate, and the executive branch being, and the judicial branch, if you really want to put it together. All these branches are supported by the conservative Republicans, and their lack of agenda to lead this country. So here we are in today is a historical, we are literally, this is a historical time for us because a shutdown of the federal government has never lasted that long. Secondly, the crassness of not abiding by or working with Congress to make sure that SNAP and food benefits are supported by the federal government while they try to figure it out. And they're running the House, the Senate, and so on and so forth. They claim that they're trying to prevent a filibuster, which I do not blame the Democrats for wanting to filibuster because it's about our health care. So if you have an administration that is supporting the idea of randomly just taking food out of the mouth of babes, because the majority of people that are receiving food stamps are children or SNAP, they are children. It's very few individual adults that are received. It's usually people that have children, and children are incapable of going to work and making a living, especially in this economy here. So bravo to all the races where we've seen Democrats get into office, somebody that has a little bit more reason and understand what humanity is and understand what the role of government is. So bravo to Mondavi in New York. I know a lot of people had issues with him because of his religious affiliation. To Cheryl, I believe in Virginia.
Yeah, Mikey
Who?
Sherrill.
Yes. Okay, Mikey Sherrill. Yes, who became governor of New Jersey. Only the first. She's the first. She's the second woman, but the first Democratic woman. And then, of course, and bravo to Virginia, because even though we didn't sit, we had two women that were running for the same office. One that was a lieutenant governor, although she was off the chain.
Yes.
Yeah, and Stamberger. And she's gonna do an amazing job. I just really like the new governor elect of Virginia, and she's good too. But across the country, we have seen women and in democratic roles take position in local elections. Like I just got an email from someone in Georgia, and all around the Atlanta area, there are these. Yeah, it's so many races where African American women have made historical. They've been elected in. And even in Pennsylvania, one thing that did come out that stepped out, and I'm so proud of the party and so proud of the outreach effort to make sure that we're retaining judges.
Yes.
That's
Okay.
right. That's
I,
right.
Yes.
voted. I was
So
there. I voted.
yes, yes. So we had to vote. So in Pennsylvania, you have to retain the Superior and Supreme
Right.
Court justice. On the statewide level, we're typically more Democratic, okay, because
Mhm.
of Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. But you know, your county courts and stuff like that, they tend to be more Republican in nature, and so on and so forth. And candidates are able to run both parties. So, you know, they can run on either party um, in there. But typically, with the Supreme and the Superior Court, it's very important that we have those district
Yes.
courts.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean that they're going to be more liberal in their approach and anything, because sometimes it doesn't really go your way. But I'm just really pleased that just across the country, if you start looking at races, we did it. And I want to note in Pennsylvania too, because it's very important that Harrisburg, the city of Harrisburg, is in Dauphin County. Okay.
Yep.
And I do want to note that Latasha Williams, my soror,
All
uh,
right.
AKA,
All right.
became the first African American woman to
Oh,
sit on the Dauphin County court as a judge.
Yes.
wow.
Yeah, so
Yes.
she made
That,
history yesterday.
yes.
And her and another lady who is a Anglo lady became the two Democrats elected to the Court of County Pleas in Dauphin County in over 30 years.
Wow.
There is a change going on. We've
Mhm.
got to keep, they've got to keep this momentum going up until 2026.
Do
So
you?
I'll stop there because
Oh
I know
no,
there
no.
was some exciting races where you were too, but we got a taste of it, and I was for it all
Oh
yesterday.
Yeah.
yeah.
Very
Yeah.
pleased.
And see, we also had major seismic shifts in Virginia where they made a massive gain in the state house.
And the
Uh,
state. That's right.
they gave them a beat down for the state house. They
Mhm.
also Mississippi broke the supermajority now of the
Yes.
Republicans in
That's it.
their state house, and Georgia
Gain
flipped
3 seats.
two
Right.
major municipal
Right.
seats uh, 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 for the first time in 24 years.
Hmm.
Uh, I mean, we we won't call it a blue wave yet because we're not in the congressionals, but we can call this. We can definitely call this the blue trickling right now.
You know what? But
It is
to a certain degree, it is not. It is a wake. It was really a tsunami in the sense of a wake up call. So I
yeah,
would just differ. It wasn't a triple
yep,
because this was all over the country, and anytime
right.
you have the results and the numbers that turned out, and look at the margins that they won. That's the thing that I'm looking at. Look,
The margins were
17%
very very big.
in Virginia, 16% in New Jersey. I mean, these were resounding messages being sent. So, like I said, to me, it was a tsunami in the sense of the Republicans now are. They had their little breakfast this morning, and it was so somber. Everybody is like it was a funeral. But I
I
mean,
think I think that breakfast was nails in their cornflakes today.
exactly. What Myneca said, this is going to carry on through the midterms next year. And I said this before on our podcast. I have not in one way, shape, form been worried about it. I do believe God's hand, we always look at it from a spiritual point of view. I believe God's hand is in this. And that's why I've been telling everybody I know, even in my posts, we don't have a thing to worry about because common sense kicked in. I don't know about you all, but I was looking at the exit poll. 78%, I mean 68% of Latinos in New Jersey, 67% in Virginia, uh, even Pennsylvania, even down in Georgia, all more than 60% in every one of the races went with the Democrats now because they finally realized we've been bamboozled. Our families have been split up. I believe it's going to carry on to next year, and it's going to be voting blue throughout. You look at all the red states where they really broke those strongholds and things like that. And so, like I said, this is a good day. This is a good day. This is better than the shellacking they gave Bush back there.
Do you all think that this changes, and maybe I'll throw this to you, Bishop, get you to say something here, is that do you think this changes the calculation of Republicans? Do you think that this will change how they approach things and maybe start to distance themselves from Trumpany?
That the reality that I see is that they have an agenda that they have been pushing, and they wanted to push. And see, here's one of the things that I want us to know as Afro-Americans is simply this. Since the time of Bill Clinton's administration, the Voting Rights Act has been tabled in every congressional session.
Right.
The reason for that is because when it comes to African Americans in voting, we were only an experiment. What we must do, and you all can agree or disagree, you're welcome to do so, is we have to continue to push our agenda.
Thank you.
Okay? See, we dropped it back in the 70s. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yes, we did.
We got comfortable. But we need to pick it up, dust it off, and start going forward with that again. Now, will the Republicans, and I have to say this, it's because it's politics. The Republicans are going to do exactly what they need to do in order to try to win. If it means backtracking but still doing what they're doing, that's what they're going to do. If they will say one thing out of their mouth. Look at their president. I'm sorry, did I say that? Yeah, and I meant it. Look at their president, says one thing and does the exact opposite.
Exactly.
Okay, so we have to understand who these people are and where we are in the timeline of American politics. And in doing so, we have to pinpoint who are the people who have consistently, and especially in our lifetime, okay, consistently promised one thing, but never came through. We have to look at how many times are we going to allow them to lie to us straight up.
Say it. Straight up.
And not call them to it. You know, I mean, we fact check Donald Trump all the time, and that's fine and good. But we need to fact check these other people that are those congressmen and those senators who think it's amiable to protect a president who is absolutely 199.999% corrupt. His whole business and political careers have been wrought with nothing but treachery.
Well, you know what he said, Bishop. He said, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Yeah, but the reality is, he did say that. But you want to know something? We've got to be a little smarter. We've got to take this and we have to start making sense. The Democrats have to do three things in order to keep this momentum alive. And I'm going to be quite blunt. What they have to do is they have to back off of the LGBTQ push,
right,
and go into human rights.
I agree.
Okay, that's number one. Number two is they have to focus on continuing healthcare.
Yes.
Pushing healthcare. You see, because white folks right now are being impacted. Okay. And this is all over, whether they be Democrat or Republican. Okay. White folks are not getting SNAP. White folks are losing their insurances because I don't know about in other states, but here in Kentucky, my insurance back in March went up from $59 to almost $900 a month.
Oh my God.
Okay. And I had to let it go. Okay. Right. So the reality is, this is not a game to be played. This is strategy that has to be well thought and well played. And we as a people have to start standing up for ourselves, not the whole, but ourselves.
Yeah.
Okay. What do we want? Can we articulate that? What do we need? Can we articulate that? And I'm going to be honest with you. The Republican Party is going to try to kowtow.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
To the Black community now.
Yes.
Because they hear footsteps. Oh, listen, we love you. And they're still calling you the N-word behind your back.
Absolutely.
Okay. Absolutely. They got chains in their hands. Okay. So we've got to understand who they are. We've got to understand what they represent. And we just got to check them. Make sure they are telling the truth. Not their interpretation, but the truth.
That's it. I agree with that wholeheartedly.
I think that for sure that we are and I'm thinking about this whole thing, especially with Mondani, because he ends up being a signal to something you said. He ends up being a signal that the people are tired of, we say the status quo, but I think in a sense of feeling like that they have been lied to. So we've gotten to this point that the openness to the democratic socialist message has really busted wide here because you have a younger generation that's really not for the bull job. So now you have democratic socialism that is on the table. So you have him, Bernie Sanders, AOC, what people would call the squad or people like that. The concept. I think that we now, okay, to my MAGA friends out there, he's not a communist, so calm yourself down. The concept of democratic socialism is a mixture. Let me unmute you, Myneca. Will you say, Myneca?
It's democracy. Yeah. Right. So people don't understand when you talk about what a fascist. They don't really understand what a fascist is. When you say democratic socialist, that means what you're doing is you're centering your policy around society. Yeah.
Yes.
It doesn't say, every individual has a right to still go out there and make the money and use the open economy and have a free market. But there are some in society that you're gonna have to center policy around people. Politics is people. Right. And with the current administration, you're telling me this is going to be a autocracy, and only those who have the money will be able to control how much you get. There is a fear that I have when there is an administration that does not believe that giving people SNAP and food isn't a given right.
Right.
You ask us to be a part of the society, we get taxed. All of us are going to be able to come to the table whichever way we come, but it has to be equitable.
Right.
It's not going to be equal. We're not going to all have the same mental capacity. We're not going to all have the same physical capacity. It takes for us, for someone to be rich, it means that someone has to be poor.
Yeah.
Okay. So, so a democratic society, we're a wealthy nation. We're a wealthy nation where we're throwing away food.
Right.
And
Exactly.
still people are not connecting, we're not connecting to food sources. And, you have states scrambling to try to help their citizens out to achieve food. But mostly what you're doing is you're impacting the economy. Because what if many grocery stores, especially in low-income neighborhoods, 80% of their income comes in through SNAP benefits.
Right. Exactly.
80% of their customers are using SNAP. So that means that they're only going to be able to sell 20% of their items that are in the store. That's going to impact everyone in society when they have to raise prices because they're not able to move things.
And you know what? And me being the capitalist in the house, I can say that there is room to be wealthy and take care of everyone.
Yes, exactly.
Absolutely.
I don't believe that you have to you have to have the destitute so that you can be mega rich. That's the misnomer that we've been living with. So now you have a generation that's almost looking to lay the hammer to the existing system, of which Trump acted like that he wanted to change. No, he wanted to exploit the existing system. He didn't want to change anything. He just wanted to exploit the system for his advantage. But now you're going to have the pendulum swing now. We're coming towards the pendulum swing where people are going to be like, well, we need to try this other thing out and see how that goes. And I think that this election is the beginning of that we're and look out everybody, because this is what's going to happen. Just like they tried to trash him to no end.
Right. Yeah. Oh, they didn't try. They did.
Yeah. and it didn't work. I would boldly say, look out for a majorly rich field of presidential candidates.
Yes.
And look out for my dark horse, which is not so dark, but AOC. She's young. She's clear in communication. She is very smart. She speaks to the generation, and she will turn numbers.
Oh, yes.
Look for her to elevate, if not presidential, because they may say not your turn yet.
Exactly.
But look for her to become such a much more of a major power broker. She's got hands laid on it now from Bernie. so what Bernie started, she will be able to supercharge with this emerging generation. Because my wife and I said, wait a minute, our 15-year-old, she's going to be a voter by the time the next election come around. So you better look out. I mean, I think the boomers, being the selfish generation they've always been, they are looking to take that last piece of juice out of this nation before they go to pasture. And we're dealing with a tide shift with this crop coming through. And I'm gonna tell you another thing. Marjorie Taylor Greene, she does not want to be seen on a sinking ship. So she's already turning to MAGA. She figures she has a good year to change her tune.
Exactly.
Before her seat comes up. And
the question becomes, though, is she really going to change? See, this is part of the problem we have. Okay. Is these are politicians. Okay. there are very few politicians that I trust.
Right.
Okay. Now, Madam Mayor, I trust her. Exactly. But I would not trust others. Okay. The reason is because of community integrity.
Right.
You cannot tell your community what you're going to do, and then you produce absolutely nothing.
Right.
Okay. And then your integrity is shot. So let's look at this. Okay. Marjorie Taylor Greene, who used to be one of the foremost spokespersons for MAGA, is now turning. The question is, why? Is it we already know what it really is. Okay. It's her political career. It has nothing to do with whether she is actually. So, I have to see some things out of her that are positive. I got to see, you have to produce for your people. Let me see you, get those people, especially those 60 some odd percent of white people. Excuse me, can we say that on white people who are on SNAP benefits? Okay.
Yeah. I heard the numbers
are losing 80%. Even though it's open enrollment, they're losing their health care. Let's really talk about this. Let's see her put her money where her mouth is. Okay. Well, put your butt on the line and actually produce something.
I feel like I done slipped into Nowheresville with this, but here it goes. She's been going on The View advocating for the children and the women, and she wants to read the Epstein list from the floor of the House. And she is. I feel like I'm in the dark side right now, the Twilight Zone. But this is the world we're living in now. We have all of a sudden the badly built bleach blonde body lady and Jasmine Crockett agree on something. What's going on? I mean,
that's a point there though. Is if Jasmine Crockett will actually says she's changing this, that, and the other thing, because they've been at odds for the last couple of years.
Right.
Now, here's what I say. Going on television and advocating for something, the best actors in the world are politicians.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Okay. Emmy Awards, Grammys, you name it, should go to them. Okay. Because I'm not going to make a blanket statement and say none of them care, but the majority of them, after they get into the system, okay, they forget about their constituency.
Right.
And they follow along. Okay. And that's detrimental to a healthy nation.
Right.
Okay. So until she does, I don't want to hear her say jack crap. Shut up.
Right.
Put your butt on the line and do it. Right. Then we'll talk. I don't have any further conversation. Okay. Let's read this and no. You should have been like that 2 months ago.
Thank you.
So Reggie, I want to bring Reggie in. What's your feeling about that? Then Myneca, I want you to tell us from a female perspective what she may be doing, because I think that she's just making sure she survives. That's what I think.
That's all it is. She's in survival mode. She's now treading water because she's up for re-election next year. And she sees the handwriting is on the wall. You said it best. No one wants to be on a sinking ship. And at the end of the day, she understands, without question, all of that talk that the Republicans have been saying since they won last year, we're doing, Mike Johnson, I could just string him up. They're talking all this stuff, we're doing the will of the people. The people spoke last night, and the people made, and this was not just Democrats and things like that. A lot of Republicans in the exit polls said they voted Democrat because they're sick of this. It came back to their own front doors. And the bottom line is this, whether it was the Latinos, whether it was, and even with the black, young men from 18, they said to 30, their percentage was over 50%, voting Democrat. All of these people have turned from all of that, MAGA stuff and all that type of thing. Now, that's not saying their heart has changed, but the fact is, when people know they got to stand in a line just to get some food and things like that, that has a way of humbling you. And like I said, at the airport, everywhere I went and stuff like that, I felt so bad. And one of the TSA workers, she was just, I wish I should have wrote her a check, because she was just letting people know, listen, I mean, this was like early. We left one day early in the morning, and she said, listen, I ain't getting paid, so don't try me. She said, don't try me. I haven't had a check in weeks, so don't even try. She said, I'm not the one. Please do what you have to do. Put your stuff in the basket, push it through, and go ahead to your gate. But don't mess with me, because I'm not getting paid.
Man.
It's all survival mode. It's all survival mode. And the thing that I am hoping that will come out of this, and I've already seen some of it. I've been very ardently listening and watching some of the reports last night. I stayed up very late last night just listening. And it's not just the Republicans who are up for re-election next year. A lot of people are finally they're looking at their history and their legacy. It's all about survival and legacy now. Everybody sees this whole Trump phenomenon has been fractured. They know no matter what he's saying, he's not able to run in any other elections. They're looking at their legacies now, and they've noticed every time that you see what they did. They did no town hall meetings because there are people letting them know. I have never in my life been so proud to see people in Idaho, see people in Wyoming at those town hall meetings lighting up their Republican representatives and things like that, to the point they cursed them out and let them know, I'm going to vote against. If I live, everyone was saying the same thing. The one thing you better be rest assured, next year, I'm going to do everything to get you out of office, because they see, and they were very graphic with it, because they came like, this old guy, the 82-year-old veteran, and he told the guy, get your head out of Donald Trump's behind and start thinking about your constituents instead of trying to please this orange man. So, and like you said, and with AOC, let me finish with that. I'm so proud to see AOC. I mean, she's been my girl since she got first got elected anyway. But when you see this new youthful movement of AOC, like I said, being mentored by Bernie and things like that, and with Jasmine, because she's in the mix too. She's not one of their team, members, but she's in the mix as well, because she's doing what she's doing. And like I said, to see the fact that last night, God himself assured everybody that he's still in control of this. Because anytime you see all of these red, look, right there in New Jersey, all of those areas of Trenton, all those red, black, all of them went purple last night. Anytime you win by 16%, and like I said, and Donald Trump only won by like 3% in some of those areas, that speaks volumes to those people who know they're going for re-election next year. So like I said, I'm going to keep sitting back with my popcorn and enjoying the show and not feeling bad or sorry for the ones who've been impacted. But the only thing that Democrats have to do is keep talking about the economy, keep talking about the health care, and keep reminding them they control the Senate, they control the Congress, they control the Supreme Court, and they control the White House. And even today, I don't know if you saw any of it, even the Supreme Court is backing away because they were doing the hearings about the tariffs, and they putting Trump's attorneys through the fire and brimstone. So we're in a good place right now.
No, I think that, and we'll have a separate episode on the Supreme Court because they're on my radar.
Oh, I want all
because they know how unpopular they are, and they know how unpopular their stances are. But I'll put a pin in that right now. Myneca, I want to ask you something though. I know I said about what is AOC. You know, what do you think Marjorie is doing? But I'm gonna ask you a different question first. Do you think that MAGA fever? Do you think that the MAGA fever is on its way to, or do you think that it's going to morph into something else?
So I don't think we'll change the mindsets of people that have a certain belief about um, white supremacy and anti-DEI, so on and so forth. We can't. It's just simply not going to happen because, particularly with conservative white people who have a vision of what what they believe America should be, and honestly, they believe that anything that is Eurocentric is the value that America should subscribe to, and that anyone that's not following that or not blending in or merging, into the mindset, that's not in agreement with them. So they do support anti-DEI initiatives and organizations. They do support very lax laws in terms of treating people different types of ways if they don't look like what an American should look like. I mean, this administration here, but you talk about MTG, Marjorie Taylor Greene. That's my initials for her, MTG, and LC, Alexandria Ocasio. When we talk about MTG, I talk about all the things that she was quiet on. She was quiet when there was decisions to stop diversity, equity, and inclusion organization. She was quiet on that front. She was quiet when the Supreme Court, struck down affirmative action. She was quiet when the Supreme Court reversed the decision of women and abortion.
Right.
So, but she's appealing to a base of people because how she got into office was the fact that she was able to get all these moms together in this movement that really believe in these conspiracy theories about pedophiles and all of those. So she has to appeal to that base, and her base is pressuring her, to make some decisions. And that's why she's going to Trump. But most importantly, those same people that follow and subscribe those mentalities, those are your middle class, your lower, probably your less educated, less worldly, less less enlightened individuals. And so they are strictly focused on those Epstein files. And the question is that MTG is saying, I want to follow Trump.
Yeah.
But why aren't you all allowing these files to be released? Because my people are on my tail and they're telling me that.
Thank you.
And to me, that's question number, that's 20% of the issue. My issue is that anything that's going to impact me in terms of me getting a job, they've also stopped they put a blanket stop on the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program, which means minorities and women and people of color, people that have been historically denied opportunities to participate in public working, in public work and public contracting, are at a point now that they have to prove that they're disadvantaged. Yeah, so it typically was because you cannot use race and gender as a category to determine that, when in fact we know that there are laws on the books in every single state and on the federal level that really discriminated against women and minorities. Women didn't have the right to vote. You know, African Americans didn't have a right to participate in full work environments. So how in the world could they, you know, in just a matter of 40 years, being a part of a disadvantaged business enterprise program, make up for the hundreds and hundreds of years that they were locked out totally out of the system? Now, they were doing the work, but they weren't getting compensated for it because they were they were either enslaved, or the patents and everything that they were making for the white folks that had the access were stolen from it. So I question Marjorie Taylor Greene, and I like the idea that some sparring's going on, but it's not productive to me because she didn't stand with the right causes, in my opinion. If you're going to go against Trump, go against everything that he's doing, and not about the fact that you think that he has some character flaw in having relationships with a man named Epstein for sexual favors or whatever he's using it for. Because I think it was more than that. I think he, you know, he used Epstein to blackmail a lot of people. Yeah. And so my opinion with MTG, that same person, I do like to see she's sparring, but you know, she's trying to support her base, and at the foundation of the are worried about, you know, a culture of pedophilia. You know.
So I wanna pivot to something then. Prop 50 in California passed, and to let everyone know what Prop 50 is. Prop 50 is the ability the people gave the governor and the government the ability to go ahead and redraw the congressional lines for the sake of counteracting what they did in Texas. Texas redrew their lines to basically take 5 more Republican seats. So California is responding by taking back 5 seats on their side. And now they're urging Maryland. And Westmore has put out now a call for a commission, and a couple other states to do so. We are about to face a nuclear arms race of gerrymandering. Now, having said that, the Republicans are capable of out gerrymandering the Democrats if all of the states went all in. Because just to let you all know, the Congress, the House is based on land. So as far as land mass is concerned, the Republicans have the advantage. The Democrats have the advantage over density. You know, your cities tend to be what sways the elections in a state. If you have a big city, they tend to be blue. So this is a delicate thing here. I see, everyone, because even though now good news is I heard that Kansas has decided not to redraw their line.
They said they're not going to even get into that. And I think most states going to do the same. They're not going to deal with that because the mere fact that Gavin Newsom was able to pull that off in California, I think that too is a wake-up call. If California being one of the largest states we have in this whole nation, they're not going to be willing to take that chance, even though they have all of those, like I said, red states who typically have gone with Trump and stuff like that. when they try that tit for tat game, they're losing even on that side of the spectrum, because their own people, like I said, have been impacted by these ICE raids. Their own Republican people have been impacted by the SNAP benefits and all this other stuff that they're taking away from them. And when you have people out there have to stand in literally the soup line again, just to be able to survive and get food for their families. I mean, they had Walmarts. I saw some of the Walmarts actually closed their doors, and you had to order online and just pick it up, because they were talk about all these people were implying, and I was out of the country when I saw that. They were saying how they was planning to just go in Walmarts and Targets and just steal. Well, they responded by having security guards and lock the doors. Anything you wanted, you had to order it online and just pick it up at the door, because they weren't going to let them people do those flash mobs and all that kind of stuff. Right. But at the end of the day, I just still believe that we're in a very good place right now, and it doesn't matter, how Marjorie Taylor Greene, what she thinks it does. The people themselves now are looking beyond their politicians, because they know the politicians can't save them. They have just like Archbishop said, they don't trust them. Politicians are the least trusted people in the whole entire world. People right now are looking out for themselves, and what they know is this: we tried this experiment, putting Trump back in there overwhelmingly, and we all were bamboozled, because for everything he said he was not about, he ended up being about it, and everything that he wasn't supposed to be about, he ended up being just that. So
now this might be a red herring, but y'all had him the last time. I just wanted to say that.
He was bad the first time, and he's worse the second time. Yeah, this is not a choice.
You got to factor in race. They didn't want a black woman to be in there, so they were willing to go against all of that.
Now that I agree.
Right, they were willing to go against their common sense, all because the Latino
woman
community, that's a cultural thing. They do not believe in letting the woman lead anything. So they were willing to take their chance, and they believed they'd rather have that convicted felon than have a well-educated black woman in there who made the mistake of said she wouldn't change too much other than what Biden had already done. And that was her biggest, nail in the coffin for her, I think. But at the end of the day now, they said, heck with all of this. We have to survive.
I bet you they want Biden's policies back now. I bet you they miss them now.
Oh no! Did you notice something? And this is something where
hard down the street.
Every time something happens, and his butt gets called to the line, he blames the Democrats. He blames it's Obama. Obama's been out of office, dummy.
15 years.
Let's be realistic. Biden did this.
Long time.
Here's what is really going on, and people have to really wake up and smell the coffee. And if you don't, I'm going to tell you something. I pray that the Holy Ghost come and slap you in your face. Okay, wake you up.
Slap him, Holy Ghost.
Yeah, I'm talking about You talking about a rush or a sound. Yeah, but you have to realize this. Your politicians cannot lead you spiritually.
That's right.
Number one. Number two is the Christian nationalist movement is, I forgot the actual name of the organization, but Paula White and a few others are part of it.
Right.
They're the ones that were pushing Project 2025.
Project 25, yes.
Exactly.
The Heritage Foundation.
You have the biggest liar in office who has proven himself to be a liar, to be a shyster, not only in the political arena, but also in the business arena.
Well, he's been that, yeah.
So, but this is where the deep part comes is America sent a message back in November.
Right.
Because the majority of the United States does not like us.
That's right. That's
They
it.
don't like black and brown people.
That's it.
And that was the message that was being sent. Now, here, yeah, they didn't want Kamala. They didn't, we got a pass with Obama, okay,
Exactly.
for 8 years, but he was scandal free, okay.
Exactly.
Now, my question becomes this, and I'm going to ask if I can, Madam Mayor, if you would. What is the overall reason why we have diminished from 25% of the national population to less than 14%? I think it's 13 and 4% over the last 50 years, and have lost so much political power and momentum that we had or that we were gaining back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. How did we lose all of that?
So I don't know if we really had it.
Yeah. Immigration was the key, right? I mean, with Latinos, and then you have to remember all the the Asian influx, Indians, Pakistanis, and then those from the Far East, whether it be.
And here's the problem with
so
that.
it's a census. It's every administration has a census, and the census identified people. And one of the categories that really changed for African American, because remember your percentages of people, it doesn't really matter. But we know a greater part of the argument in the workplace is that by 2030, 2035, the majority of America will be majority minority. And that is very problematic. So you then began to see changes in the administration that were very quiet, but they really did it with the census and how it's counted. So they went it from counting Hispanics to, are you a Hispanic of Latino origin? And do you fall into the category of white Hispanic or, black Hispanic or Asian Hispanic? I mean, you could be in any one of those categories and still have the Hispanic category. So that diminishes the numbers right there because if you are from Dominican Republic, if you're from Puerto Rico, you may be an Afro Latino, Brazil, or you may be Mexican and you may fall on the lighter hue, or you may be Cuban, this, that, and the other. Even when we talk about Hispanic groups, that's why I am very careful not to group Latinos as a group together, because I have worked very closely with Hispanic organizations, and I will tell you that there's very diverse cultures within the Hispanic culture, and it has a lot to do with where they come from, who they look like, what they look like, and the different types of experiences that they have, and they even speak differently. So even when they talk about a Hispanic bloc, I don't even look at that. And Darryl, even in Pennsylvania, I don't even look at that, especially in York County. I'm going to say York County, which is where Darryl and I live. Darryl lives closer to York City, and I live closer to Hanover. But in my group here, we don't have a wide mass of Puerto Ricans, whereas York City has the majority of their Hispanic population are Puerto Ricans, and the majority of ours, just 17 miles away, are going to be Mexicans. They're going to be from El Salvador, and so they're going to be the more whiter looking migrant workers, whereas in York City, you're going to have your Afro Latinos, and most of them will have the same experiences as African Americans. And so the numbers, the percentages, in my opinion, Archbishop, the number doesn't matter. It's the treatment of the people. And we've known since the 90s they have been pushing for Europeans to come into the country. I mean, and that was during the Clinton administration too. He would he would stop Nigerians from coming in or people from the African countries, but then he would open immigration up to Poland and Yugoslavia, during the time where they were having political strife too, and so that actually increased the number of white people in this country, and so so they would, and they prefer to have those groups in, but that's how they measure that, and that's a process that they've been using, and and I'm pretty sure Trump is trying to use it too, and I to me that would have been to me that would have been something that I really would have jumped on if I were the Democrats, and him bringing in South Africans into this country,
Yeah.
and knowing how they feel about apartheid, and their history with apartheid, and their ability to really blend into this country and blend into the racist element. So now we're promoting to have racist people that come from racist regimes to come
Right.
into America to promote that as well. And we've
And keep
seen
them
that there's
powered.
been a flop as well.
Right.
Right. And
Okay.
empower
Yes,
them.
Right.
and
To empower.
empower them.
Yeah.
Right. But let me
Go ahead,
throw
go ahead.
let me throw a curve into that, because alluding to what Archbishop originally was asking, uh, our percentage has dropped, like he said, all the way down to less than 14%. Now, let's keep it real. A lot of that still is due to the direct um, American way of breaking up the black family. Our numbers, according to the census, are going down because we don't even have 35, 40% of our African Americans now getting married. I mean, the divorce rate has gone up, but the marriage rate has gone down. You take the young people and things like that. You got a whole lot of baby daddies, but you don't have a lot of fathers in the household. And part of that was, through the racism of America as well. Because remember back, like he was saying, in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, you couldn't get no assistance if a man was in the house. We are now, even though that was 40, 50 years ago in some cases, but the generation has flipped this thing around to that now, unfortunately, and I'm saying this with utmost respect to all of our beautiful women and all of our beautiful sisters within our, being African Americans. I look at that podcast that goes all over the country. What is it? To, tonight's conversation or whatever, things like that. And it breaks my heart to see how fragmented African American relationships are now. Unfortunately, the women have been taught, well, you don't need a man. And that has been a generational curse. Because if great grandmama didn't have great granddaddy in the house, and then granddaddy wasn't in the house, then the daddy, and it has come down from the last 4 or 5 generations. And now the end result is our birth rates are even lower. And then when you combine that with the fact that no man is in the household, there's no way we can keep reproducing at the levels that we did. And everything that we've done, they have intentionally tried to destroy the black family. And then add in the fact that we've destroyed ourselves because with the black on black violence and all that type of thing. Now, we all know statistically there are more white people on social services than there are black people because it was designed for them. We all know the crime rate for, for white people, for Latino people, and any Hispanics is high because you're in proximity. So it's going to be black on black crime, just like it's white on white crime, just like it's Hispanic on Hispanic. None of that stuff matters, but at the end of the day, my only prayer is I'm hoping we as a race of people would tear down those strongholds that have been intentionally set to divide us and entrap us, and especially with our lovely women, because it breaks my heart to hear some of the women, the requirements, that the women have. Kevin Samuels has been dead now almost 2 years. And some of the things that they're demanding from the guy, but they don't bring the same thing to the table. You can't expect that you're going to get a high value man if you're not even a high value. What high value man who makes
Okay, okay.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna say, Reggie.
Okay, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
We started a war of
We got
extension.
to
Oh
build
my
back our
goodness.
house. We got to build back, put our house.
Well, first of all, let me tell you, that's not my experience. That's only 35% of them because the majority of men I know are married. So,
Right.
Hey,
yeah.
Manika, when Reggie started going there, I just started scrolling on my phone.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we go there a whole lot, and but I don't buy into the argument because I see images of families. I see
Oh
married
yeah.
men I see
Right.
married men all the time, and
Mhm.
I see people in relationships, and I see people that are not in relationships, and those aren't in relationships just don't need to be in relationships. So
Yeah.
they got issues. So that's what we're dealing with. Those don't really need to be in relationships, and they're out there with this psychodrama mindset that there's
Yeah.
5 women to every man out there, and so I don't have to get with one person because I can have all 5. Yeah,
Oh,
that kind of mentality is there.
the
But
power movement is
yeah,
growing.
well,
Yeah.
yeah, when we talk about those social structures where people are in single parent households or single family households where they're not fully nurtured by both parents, then that's a whole other dynamic that really doesn't play this. But before we go there, I want to go back to Westmore because I'm a little
Right.
upset
Yeah.
with him right
Right.
about now.
Uh-huh.
And so I've been kind of observing Westmore, and he needs to sit back a little bit. And I love him to death, and I love what he's
Right.
doing in Maryland, but he's not going to be president of the United States, so he
Oh,
needs to sit back.
right.
Yeah, so a couple of things happened. He started with the reparations aspect of it, looking at ways to do reparations. There was actually a plan in Maryland, to
Right.
promote reparations. But the second part, about him refusing to do the redistricting. So
Right.
now he's having some issues with his administration.
Administration. Right.
Yes, the Speaker of the House and the head of the Senate, they
Mhm.
are all at odds about the fact that he's not interested in doing any redistricting of
Mhm.
Maryland, to support the plan. First of all, he may not need to if Gavin
Right.
Newsom has already done it.
That's
And
right.
he's
Right.
already, yeah. So I applaud Gavin Newsom for making a strong effort because one thing that is important, and I worked in state government probably 35 years total in combined government, is that when you work and when you act, you've got to act fast because
Right.
administrations change. And
Right.
so you got to set policies, you got to set things into place. And what I find with black men, and I will say this,
Mhm.
is that when they get in power, just like
Yeah.
Obama, I've had my issues with Obama.
You and me both. Yeah.
Yes, I've had my issues with him for the same reason. When
Right.
you have the platform, you
Use it.
use that and you be strong and don't try to be conciliatory.
Thank you.
When,
Thank
yeah, yes, you
Well,
cannot,
that
you cannot do that. And
with
Westmore
Westbrook,
is he's
yeah,
he's moving in a way
you in that way.
where he is taking that power that he has
Mhm.
as the first black governor of Maryland to not use to
being
exercise his power to advance people. Now I don't
Thank
know. I won't go there about his national origins and things
you.
along those lines. And I kind of got mine and I want to make sure I keep getting mine. Baby, you're not gonna go too much further than governor.
Thank
But
you.
you
Thank
know
Okay.
what though?
Thank you.
Yes.
I'll tell you what was on my mind though,
Yes.
because you bringing this
You
up,
can't rationalize with him.
Right.
I was thinking, um, should Hakeem Jeffries stay the Democratic leader, or should we look for another? In the words of John the Baptist.
Look, if these men were uh as um a delegate or if they were peacemakers and what do you call that when they're negotiators, mediators.
Mediators. Right. Okay.
Yeah, if you're such a mediator, why aren't y'all in relationships?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if
Right.
once you get in
Right.
power,
Right.
those why aren't you using your mediation skills to stay in marriages? I mean, Wes Moore is married. Hakeem Jeffries is probably married too. But what I'm saying is that is not the step to make. When you have the platform, you utilize that, because once you walk away from that, you'll never have that opportunity to do that again.
Yeah, you
Imagine
have
someone, yeah, you don't have the opportunity to do
you
it.
have windows. I think that Jeffries has well, we've seen Jeffries come under a lot of heat because he is not cracking the whip like he could um, with what he has. I mean, I think the one thing that can be said about Nancy Pelosi is that she brought the pain, whether she was the speaker or if she was not the speaker. She knew how to bring the pain. Now, the one thing Jeffries can get credit for is always keeping the Democrats, together. So he has done that. I wonder if his political calculation is just let MAGA self-destruct. I'm thinking that may be a calculation on his side, which there's a case to be made that it's somewhat working. I mean, with the shutdown, the Republicans are getting the blame. They had a big wave election yesterday, so maybe he's right. But I think though people want to feel something. That you're dealing with a society that if Trump didn't do anything, he made people feel something to the point that he reached them to the middle of the center of their being, and they are convicted all the way through with whatever they believe, even if it's dead wrong, because they're driven by emotion. And we have uninspired leadership in both the House and the Senate with Schumer and Jeffries, and they're not making the people feel something, in which I'm seeing. But I'm wondering, do you think that is he the right leader, or should he step aside and let somebody else become leader?
They need to all step aside. I mean, I'm like what Myneca just said. I am just so sick of seeing, even when we do have a night like last night, they should have been all over the news cycle today with fresh commercials reminding everybody of what just happened last night and the reasoning behind it, in the sense of, all this blame that Republicans have tried to keep saying it's the Democrats' fault this shutdown. We always one a day late and a dollar short, because, Hakeem, they've all been there. I don't have any confidence, even Clyburn down in South Carolina, North Carolina. Which one? South Carolina. He's South Carolina. It's time for us. You have the young people like the Jazz McCrockets and AOC and all of those other ones. I'm even worried about Cory Booker because, again, when they could have cracked the whip, they didn't crack the whip. And going back to even alluding to what Myneca did say, that was my biggest pet peeve with Obama, because had Obama came in without trying to do all of this conciliatory stuff, talking about I'm the president of the United States, not the president of, just the African American community and things like that, we would not have had some of these other, because remember back then, that's when the Tea Party started rising up during the end of his term, first term and all that. If he had held people accountable, and we didn't mention that too, that's why, like I said, I don't celebrate nobody's death, but I do have a glass of wine saying, rest in wherever you at, Dick Cheney. But we don't crack the whip like we have to. The one thing I give the Republicans credit for, and Trump, I don't give him, he's a non-issue, but at least they had the umption and the gumption and the whatever it takes to show how corrupt they were. Here we are in a position now after last night to immediately start doing something. I have not seen one commercial being run that's showing that, like, hey, we got to keep this going until midterms next year. I've not seen.
That's why Biden. He was not. They said he should have took his victory laps. He should have.
Exactly.
He should have drugged every bill that he got passed through the town, saying, "I did that."
Second term, especially in the second term of Obama and stuff like that, he had everything on his side. We didn't do anything with the voting rights. We didn't do any of those things that should have been shored up and should have been done and things like that. And instead, he just said, "Well, let's let those things be behind us." And I'm telling
and then he got jumped at the end by Mitch McConnell when we lost Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and yes, and he allowed Mitch McConnell to take that vote away from him, which turned the tide of the Supreme Court, and and I'll never. And I love Obama and I love his peace tactics and all this stuff, but he wasn't a threat. And the worst thing he could have done, which we're now seeing the after effects of it right now, is when they had the House, when they had the Senate, when Obama was in office, he decided to not support a single payer system. And now we see these outrageous Obamacare rates coming up to a point that Obamacare is just going to be totally eliminated over time, because if they keep rising it, then we don't have the Affordable Care Act. You're just paying for money. And we're in a society where we think that we have to pay for our health care, or that we have to be wealthy. First of all, most people couldn't afford, 9 out of 10 people, almost everyone cannot afford health care at the actual cost. At the actual cost that it is now. If we had a single payer system, we wouldn't have to worry about these rates going up. But that was a big mistake Obama made, and I never really will forgive him for that, because he had the House, the Senate, and everything. And I believe Biden was vice president at the time, and somebody is saying, well, we're going to get you on something else if you don't do this, but he already had the votes. So, and I see the same kind of shift going on with Westmore, and then where were all these Democrats when it came to these bulldozers and the mobilization of equipment on the White House? Why wasn't there a chain of Democratic senators and representatives hoisting around around the White House, saying, look, you haven't gone to Congress to talk to us about what we're going to do with the White House, with the Rose Garden? They could have prevented that from being torn down by doing a human chain.
They were kind of tied up in their focus group, Myneca. So they had not finished. They had not finished convening the focus group before. Trump has a single meeting with him and Satan, and that's it.
Well, and I love the Democratic Party, and actually, I don't love the Democratic Party. They're the lesser of the two evils. But I have been a Democrat since I was able to vote, and I have supported the party because it was the party that was most aligned with what was important to me. But what I have always felt, what the Democratic Party has always done, is they failed to put African Americans in leadership roles in the position to help this country. And so, like, the leaders that we have at the national level direct what's happening on the local level as well. And they come to Black people at the ninth hour, and literally 6 weeks before election, we'll just shore those Black folks up. We'll make sure to do a couple of church appearances at the mega churches, and have you speak for 5 minutes, get recognized by TDJ, whatever it is. I done seen it. I've been a part of campaigns. I've seen it. There's never an effort to support you. They don't care about you either. So we've got to make sure that we're caring about our own selves.
So that's what Roland Martin has been talking about, because that's the only show up. And the thing is,
that's right.
They spend no Black dollars with our Black agencies. None.
No, they don't. They're not with the closing class. Let me shift this, because Archbishop got to get ready to go and soon, and then we also want to I do want to touch on. I'm gonna shift on one thing real quick, which I got to talk about. Boy, church folk off the hook this past couple weeks. Y'all been getting loose. Y'all be getting loose in the house of the Lord, y'all. So we had we have two contrasting events, which I do want to bring up quickly, and we may can pick up on it some more, but I don't want
to. We definitely have to pick up on it.
Yeah. Too far away from it, and we will have a pod on just the culture and also the church and things like that. So that's coming, y'all. But Bishop Marvin Winans was raising an offering, trying to meet the budget. This time of year, churches are trying to make sure they meet the budget, keep the light bill paid, and all that kind of stuff. So most of you all know it. While they were coming in the line, he had specific designations and lines for you to, say what your giving was going to be. And the sister, she didn't come up as instructed to talk about her offering properly. So she was short, and she told the bishop for her advice. She said, "Hey, I got 800, but I'll get the rest a little later, right?" And Bishop said, "That's not what I said. That's not what I called you up for. Now you're up in this line, and you're stating your offering wrong and everything." And people took it as a rebuke, and in full context, the lady said she did not take it as a rebuke, so she kind of sided with Bishop what he said. But in the meantime, it started off a nice little firecracker storm in the church, and Marvin Winans was being drugged through the city for his behavior because he was getting a little out of pocket. And then after that, I gotta tell the end of the story. He got up and said, "Well, since y'all drugged me, I'm gonna let y'all know." I'm gonna let y'all know I got more offers came in. Tyler Perry gave me $100,000, and Bishop Wooten gave me a 1,000 plus one and everything. And I did play the clip. It's really a fun clip. I'll play it later. But then in contrast, Jamal Bryant said that I am going to suspend giving Sundays because people ain't got no money right now. They need food. Right. So bring food to the church or whatever. And just let you know, giving Sundays is a special time of giving that he holds in the church.
Exactly.
Regular offerings. He's probably still taking his regular offerings to keep the church running. But that's the supplemental offering that that he takes. He said, "I'm suspending that, and let's make sure we're feeding our people and taking care of them." So in contrast, that's the difference between the two. And I know this is close to you, Reggie, by way of Bishop Winans. Okay, we
did this like family. We've been for many years, but you know what? I saw Paul, and that's why I got a little heat too, because I actually did do a post about the bishop, and I got some calls about that, but I don't care because I was totally appalled. And let me give you an update. The woman has put out a new post, Darryl. You're not aware of it, and she's saying they used me. They just now she's reversing, saying she was the fault because now she's been dismissed by the whole congregation, literally. So you got to see her post. If you haven't seen it, I'll send it to you. She just put out a post on Sunday that says how since that happened and it went viral, they're accusing her of being the one of exposing the church. But let's look at the reality, and we definitely have to pick up on this one.
Everybody was there.
So many more layers. It wasn't like I said an offering. They have finally, after 23 years of that church being sitting there, and the city finally came to them last year and said, "We're going to tear it down because you had 23 years and nothing has happened. It's an eyesore and everything else." So this is all about getting this new big grand mega church built now. And we all know mega churches are not needed no more. Nobody is filling up a church.
Kind of not there right now. Yeah,
it's just, that day is gone. We passed that. So he took the heat and all that type of thing, and then he gloated about it because Tyler Perry, being Tyler Perry, he threw it in there like, "Well, I see God in this. I see God in this." So he gave $100,000. But we have to pick up on that because there's a couple of other layers I want to share with you all, and we peel back on it. But along with that, the tie-in, just not him, but you have those other so-called prophets, and I'll get more into that too, because the other big part of it, Darryl, that you're not sharing about it, you got these jokers out there, and I'm gonna say their names when we get into it next week or the week after, telling people empty your bank account out. They're not doing what Marvin did. They're telling them
devil is a liar.
Right. They want $10,000 first. And if you do this, God is going to bless you within 90 minutes. And I put out a thing just yesterday, say, okay, I want everybody who's willing, let's join me for a class action lawsuit. Because when we see it doesn't happen in those 90 minutes, that's breach of contract, that's extortion. So I'm willing to do that. And I'm trying to see how many people follow me. Because I'm serious. Nobody in the church, this guy can tell people, I'm not asking you. I'm not asking you to do it. I'm telling you to do it. You better bring me $10,000 up here, and that's to start out. I want you to empty your bank account out and trust God and see if He don't do something within 1 week. And I'm saying, okay, everybody who's willing to come with me, we can all put $1 in there, and if a week we don't have that, God bless it. He says God can make you a multi-millionaire within 1 week if you do these seed offerings of 10,000. So many more layers we got to get into that.
Bishop, let's
There's
Bishop,
a whole thing that says the fool and his money.
And his money. Thank you, Bishop.
Student party. You see, the problem is y'all let these devils come in with their fancy clothes and their highfalutin speech.
Now he said, now Bishop,
listen, let me tell you something.
Bishop said that
I'm of the persuasion that unless the preacher, the pastor, the bishop, whatever you want to call him, is ready, willing, and able to get into the streets and to live among the people, that he's not worthy of the people. If you got to live above the means of the people, then you no. The scripture tells us like the shepherd is like the sheep. The shepherd smells like the sheep.
Thank you.
So while in the church, we have been taught to give the preachers and so on and so forth, religious leaders, high esteem. Yes, that's scriptural, but also remember that they're still human and that they're not infallible. Okay, they have flaws, they have sin just like everybody else. All right, and so they can play holy. But the reality is the devil has come in and bought them for 30 pieces.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's all about pimping now. What's that movie?
Yeah, Holy Ghost pimping, they call it.
It's all about pimping the people now. And, but what makes me upset is, because like I said, y'all gonna see me on the news real quick, because I'm gonna go to some of these, when they call for those offerings, I'm gonna be the one to stand up and say, like, you're a liar. Prove it. Prove it to me right now. Show me the scripture where God.
Hey, y'all gonna have to go to church with Regi and babysit him.
Well, wait a minute. Then, Brother Reggie, they also like to. If I'm a man of God, if I'm a woman, no, you're not. You're a child. You're a product of your father, who is the devil. Okay.
He need to get that Genesis payment paid for.
Thank you. I mean. But like Darryl said, you see all of this happen, and yet these people are still in poverty. They're still catching the bus while the preacher pulls up in a Bentley. So if you're that ignorant, to give your money like that, but I'm serious, I'm going to find me a couple of people, and we're going to just go around and follow some of these prophets and go to their services and just put $1 in the plate. And if we don't get a return of $1 million within that week's time, we're going to file a class lawsuit.
But Bishop said, Bishop Winans said he don't have a Bentley. He said, now that don't mean he ain't gonna get one. But he said,
thank you. Wait, no, bring it home closer. That doesn't mean his wife don't already have one.
He don't have one yet.
He don't have a Bentley because he has a Maybach.
No, that's next year.
He got the Genesis. That's why.
Vicky has been driving a Bentley for the last 20 years.
Woo, boy.
She's on her like 4th or 5th Bentley now.
Oh, Lord.
But yeah, we got to talk about this one more. That's gonna be a whole show by itself.
I want to bring that up because I think it's important, because we're talking about the overall, the economy. There is the element of still that you should give You should have faith. You should believe in the biblical economy of things, but you also should have balance and wisdom. So God gives us all to do it.
And you do have to applaud people like, as many things as people like to complain about Jamal Bryant, they gave away $500,000 worth of food on Sunday. $500,000 worth of food was given out to people. Some people were in line for 14 hours, but they made sure everybody in those lines, the lines just kept going on. I mean, the people down there, and the county police were very upset because they had, at least about a 3-4 mile long line, outside of the church down there in Lithonia, Georgia. But they made sure that they had $500,000 invested in that, and every penny of it was spent. So at least she's trying to do something. I take my hat off.
So we're gonna pick back up on this, and everybody, make sure you tune in next week because we're gonna touch.
Oh yeah, it's getting hot, but we're gonna have to do a whole show.
We're gonna touch deep on this. Yeah, we got some cultural cleanup to do on the show because there's a lot going on with the culture, and it will ultimately tie to the things that we talk about. So
we got to free these people from those curses of these pimping preachers. We got to deliver from that. We got to deliver them.
So I want to thank everyone for tuning in to the What Now to the Now What podcast. And I appreciate you. We appreciate you subscribing, like, share, hit that button down there. Hit that subscribe button and hit the thumbs up. If you got something you want to add to the conversation, go ahead and leave it in the comments there, and we will definitely acknowledge your presence. And make sure you tell somebody of what's going on. Well, this is Darryl Elliott with the Dream Team, the Fantastic Four.
Yes.
And now the mighty clouds of joy. We thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Next time. Take care.